Hi guys, I'm Etta with Etta Rosa LLC. We are a virtual paralegal firm and we also do consulting for law firms. Today we're going to talk about the differences between a legal assistant and a paralegal. So the American Bar Association back on February of this year, 2020, had changed the definition of a paralegal because they realized that there were certain tasks and skills that a paralegal had that legal assistants don't have. Now, we're not putting down legal assistants and we're not saying one is better than the other. We're just here to simply explain and highlight the differences between a legal assistant and a paralegal. So let's start with the commonalities, and then within those commonalities, we'll go ahead and differentiate what a legal assistant does versus what a paralegal does within those. So each job description and each position as a legal assistant and a paralegal have 6 types of skills. Again, this is all according to the American Bar Association. So the 6 skills, or what I like to call the commonalities of the positions, the first one is communication. Second one is technical. The third one is research. Fourth one is confidentiality, and the fifth one is writing skills, and number 6 is actually organizing all the 1 through 5 skills that I just listed. So let's go over the first one, which is communication skills. So for communication skills, this is mostly for communicating with lawyers, clients, customers, anyone that comes basically through the door. So most likely a legal assistant in this aspect of as far as communications would also communicate with a client here and there, but mostly primarily the paralegal would communicate with the client directly as far as anything regarding their litigation or their process of the case in general. Legal assistant would communicate with the client as far as simple setting up a meeting, or basically initiating a meeting, or however, just very simple tasks regarding the client's case, not giving the actual synopsis or strategizing of the case, which is really the main difference between the legal assistant and the paralegal. Just because paralegals are assumed to have a lot more years under their belt practicing law. And most likely the communication between the paralegal and the attorney in this particular situation regarding the client would be regarding strategizing any type of legal research or anything that needs to be done in order for the client to get the best outcome of their case possible. And then from there, the paralegal would delegate certain tasks to the legal assistant. Think of the legal assistant as the assistant to the paralegal, not the assistant to the attorney. So the paralegal would communicate with the attorney in order to provide the strategy, and then from there we'll delegate it towards the legal assistant. That's kind of how the communication works between that. Now, when we get to the technical skills, they're pretty much similar. Both of them should have been trained in the software, obviously, that the firm provides or that the attorney utilizes. Most law firms use Office 365, or now Google G Suite has been up there as well. Not often, but Mac also is provided, Apple. So simple softwares as far as case management software, anything regarding telephone software. So any technical skills, they should pretty much be equal. Now, when it comes to filing in that certain state or particular softwares regarding courts, judicial assistance, judicial procedures, things like that, that's basically would be the paralegal, and then the paralegal can go ahead and delegate that to the legal assistant, but primarily the paralegal would have that type of training regarding where it needs to be filed, how it needs to be filed, and where it needs to be sent. And then from there, it's up to the paralegal to either delegate it to the legal assistant or not. So the next one is obviously research. So when you're litigating a file, let's say you're trying to find experts for your file, or you're trying to facilitate case law for a motion or drafting, Primarily, that would be towards a paralegal, and then the legal assistant, of course, can provide assistance to the paralegal, but really the paralegal is the one that drives that. Now, some firms do have law clerks to do the legal research, so in this particular synopsis that I'm utilizing, it would be what I would call either an executive paralegal or an elite paralegal regarding the legal research and things like that. Now, confidentiality, equal. So legal assistant and paralegal should have the equal education as far as confidentiality. They should be signing the same exact agreement upon onboarding and upon exit as well. So confidentiality skills means knowing what is confidential, what is privileged information. I believe that should be across the board through the law firm. It should not be differentiated between the paralegal or the legal assistant or the receptionist. It should be nationwide, worldwide. Everybody should know what confidentiality information is, as that is our job, and to maintain confidentiality between attorneys, clients, and information being out there to the public that should not have been. So big one on there. So after we go through all that, you want to know about writing skills. So writing skills, usually the paralegal would be drafting a motion for summary judgment, a motion in limine, very intricate motions. In some cases, the legal assistant would provide what I call the skeleton draft, and then the paralegal would add in the case law and everything else. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have a paralegal or you're going to have a legal assistant, they should be providing you the bulk of it, and then all you would have to do is make sure that the case law and all that information is actually backed up and accurate to the motion and the argument that the motion is providing. Now, after you go through all that, you want to make sure that all these skills are organized, right? So not only physically organized or not only verbally organized, but you want to make sure that the paralegal and the legal assistant actually know the provisions and the organization of the firm, of the information, of the motions, of the case law. So, for example, LexisNexis, you're able to subfolder everything in LexisNexis. So let's say you're doing research on this particular issue or this particular case. You want to make sure that the paralegal providing you with that information knows how to do a subfolder and everything else in there and organizes all the case law for you. And if they don't, at least provide you with a little stack with everything regarding the case law. So that's definitely the overall. And not only with the actual work, you want to make sure that they're organized regarding meetings, managing projects, firm events. These are things mostly geared to the legal assistant, where she would do, or he would provide the legal events, the managing of the meetings with the clients. This is more particular geared to the legal assistant so that the paralegal can work on the strategizing and the drafting of the case in general, along with the attorney to get it to the best outcome possible. So the legal assistant should be doing more of the administrative work with the clients and with defense counsel or plaintiff or opposing counsel in general. So all that should be geared more to the actual legal assistant versus the paralegal, again, so that the paralegal can focus on the strategizing of the case. Now, why is this so important to learn, and why is this so important that American Bar Association had to actually change the definition? This is the big question, right? So it's important to learn because if you're hiring somebody, you want to make sure that what you're looking for is actually on that job description and actually coincides with the actual. You don't want to hire an assistant manager for a manager position, best case scenario. And the person that's actually looking for that job, you want to make sure that you're not going to be underpaid for something that should be at a certain pay rate. So for that reason is why I felt it was very important to differentiate all this information for you guys. And of course, if you have any other questions, just let me know. And I will provide the link to the American Bar Association's website so that you guys can actually see what the actual new definition is, and you can reference everything that I basically just synopsised here. I hope you have a great day. If not, change it.